Hey everybody, welcome back. Today on the channel, we are going to be doing something that I wanted to get done last stream, and that is pulling product photos. So right now we are scraping the Shopify sites and we're getting a bunch of data from these products that we're gonna have listings for. But what we don't have is anything visual, and that's not a good thing. At the end of the day, no one's going to buy anything just from text descriptions alone, or no one's even going to follow any links from text descriptions alone. So the more visual interest we can give them, the better, to help them find what they're looking for faster. So basically, it's hard for someone to know if they like what a product looks like if they can't see it. So we're going to make that part of the process a lot easier on them. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to build a photo model and a photos product pivot table using TDD, because I've been kind of not doing the best job of that. And the reason we're having a pivot table is it is a many-to-many relationship. At first glance, it might not seem like it. You'd think like one photo is of one photo, but as far as Shopify goes, the way their system is the way their system is built, and I can show you guys this in a minute, is that some images may belong to many variants, and because we have a separate product for every variant, we're going to have photos that many photos that might belong to many products. So we're going to have to build that many-to-many relationship there. Now we're going to use our existing process to pull the URIs off the variants, and the URIs being the photo URIs, because we are getting that data. It's just a matter of pulling it off and doing what we need with it. And then once we've got those URIs, we're going to dispatch a bunch of jobs to fetch the photos and download them to our storage. So currently it'll just be like a local storage on my laptop here, but in production that would be like an S3 bucket or an Azure storage or something like that. Now, before we get into things, though, I wanted to do a recap, because in between today and the last stream, I ended up basically rewriting the entire spidering and crawling engine, I guess you could call it. I'm no longer using Roach PHP. I've basically just built my own setup here. And so if we go into the where do we want to go? Let's go into the fetch test data from store. Fetch test data from store. And so, okay. So the first thing that we're doing, or that I've built, is this kind of like a command that helps me build test data. And so as we add a new store, I can basically, this command will generate a bunch of PHP for me that I can use to then paste into our tests. And then this add Shopify store will actually save an instance of that store in the vendors table in our database. And so once we decide to do that, then I have this spider Shopify command, which basically does a whole bunch of stuff. Behind the scenes, I've created this this concept of a Shopify store. And so if we look at that Shopify store, what it does is it takes in the URL of the sitemap for that store, and actually I'm just going to get rid of this because we always want the sitemap being passed in. And then it runs this populate command as it's constructed. And so what it does is it looks through the URLs, it fetches the sitemaps and then loops through all of those to find the product URLs. And then when it finds those product URLs, it basically returns that back as a collection, which then, if we go back here, we execute this fetch Shopify product data job. And what this does is fetch Shopify product data. Yep. And so we use the Redis engine to make sure we're not overloading the servers. And I've found that even this count is still fairly aggressive. I've still been getting locked out temporarily, which is a problem for a future stream. We can figure out how we can more smartly do this, but I just wanted to get something working. And so then I also built this concept of a Shopify product. And so the Shopify product takes in an instant or a URL of a product ID or product URL, sorry, and it then goes and gets the data from that, not this one, Shopify get data. And so it goes to the HTML, it gets the body text of the product page. It also gets, and then it pulls out the LD JSON, specifically the one that we're looking for, by looking for the type that is a product, not just a property that's on these LD JSON structured schemas. There's like a type. It could be product, it could be organization, it could be a whole bunch of different things. And so we're looking for the one that's called product, and so we're looking for that one, kind of thing. And so once we have that, then we can also go to the JSON URL and save that. And then once we have both the LD JSON and the JSON endpoint data, we can then start basically doing stuff. And so right now we're just setting the property of title, description, brand, and variants. And the variants is another model, I guess you'd call it, but it's not a Laravel model. It's just the kind of the concept of a generic model. And each of these variants will have a title, a price, a SKU, an ID, and in stock. And it just pulls it out of those 2 bits of data. So it pulls it out of the JSON endpoint, and then it pulls the availability out of the LD JSON, which is the only place we can find it. And it kind of mashes those together so that at the end, we have this idea of a Shopify product that has some variants of it. And then once we've done that, once we've got the variants, then we can do stuff with it. So then we can say, okay, so we've got the Shopify product, we have all of the data that we need to go do these things. And so we can just loop through them and say, okay, so we have the variants, just do a for each over them. And then we're going to create this product if it doesn't already exist. So we're using the update or create by searching for the SKU and the brand ID, which in theory should not change. And then if it doesn't exist, it's going to create it with this title and description. Otherwise, it's just going to update it with that title and description. And then we're also going to do the same concept with the stock, but because of how we're doing the last seen in stock thing, this is we had to have this kind of weird logic here, but otherwise, yeah. So we just do this update or create, and it does like it again searches for the vendor ID and the product ID, and then it just updates or creates this model with a price and in stock and a last seen in stock kind of thing. So, and yeah, and then there's just some very, very, very simple error handling for if we exceed a rate limit, or sorry, if we exceed the rate limit for this API, which we still do, and it's not great, but it generally works to the point where if we go to, if we go into SQL Ace and we go to our THOC, that's not the right one. New connection window, and we go to THOC. We now have 2 vendors that I've added so far. So this is Divinity and Lowfree. We have a ton of brands that it's peeled off here, and we're still gonna have to work on some of the logic for like parsing out like when it's really just Lowfree kind of thing. But we also have 2,500 products, and that's kind of what we're looking for out of those 2 stores. So we're on the right track here. Like I said, I spent a bunch of time rebuilding this so that it's a lot more customizable for us, that we can do what we want to without being hamstrung by how Roach PHP is built. The way they do things is fantastic for what it does. It just doesn't work, or it didn't work as well for our use case. So I just decided to go and do what I did. So now that we've kind of caught everyone up, we'll basically just start working on our checklist here. So we're done the recap. So the first thing we'll do is we'll start by building out the model using TDD. So we will go art make test photo test and photo test. Okay, so what do we want? It has a it belongs to a product. Actually, no, it has many products, because the kind of confusing part is going to be with our when we're talking here is when we talk about a product, we're actually talking about what Shopify calls a variant, because we're tracking all of the variants as individual products. We're not splitting it out like they do. We basically have, for every variant, we're going to have a product. And so if one Shopify store has a product with 5 variations, we're actually going to have 5 products. So that's where this kind of confusion comes in. The reason for that will be clearer once we start dealing with stores that are not Shopify. I just wanted a simpler concept of not having variants, because some stores just don't understand the concept of variants. So we got to code to kind of like the lowest common denominator. So let's go like this, and we will say this photo products, expect this photo products to be instance of, and it's going to be a collection, and I don't know why I'm not getting autocomplete, which kind of sucks. So, wow, why is that not doing autocomplete? Oh man, that sucks. Okay, I think it's Illuminate support collection, I want to say. Let's see, photo test. Before each this photo equals photo factory create. Yeah, of course there's going to be no type there. We expect that because we haven't created the model yet. Okay, so class photo not found, of course. So art make model photo, and we'll make a migration and a factory for that. Okay, so now if we run this test again, right, we have to import it, use app, no models photo. Not sure why these tests are not running all of a sudden. Photo tests. Okay. Okay. So at least we're not getting the missing class error. Okay. So what we need to do now is we need to say photo here, and we will say function products, no arguments, and this is a yeah, belongs to many. Yep. So return this belongs to many of the product class. Okay, base table. Okay, that's good. So we are going to need to make a migration. So if we say art make migration, add photo product pivot table. That sucks. Okay. copy this for now. Stupid Vim. Of course, because I yanked that. That's not going to do it. So we're going to do this again. Photo product, and we are going to say table foreign ID for a photo. And table foreign ID for product. And is there anything else we need on this table? I don't believe so. Okay, and so we can say on the drop of exists. Okay. Schema drop of exist. Yep. Cool. Okay, so now if we go back to this test. Cool. And the next thing we want to do is, because every photo has to belong to at least one product. The reverse isn't necessarily true. Like a product may at some point not necessarily have a photo, either because we've inserted it into the database and we just haven't inserted the photo yet, or the product just might not have any photos to begin with. Like it might just be one of those like blank products for some reason. Like maybe it's a I don't know, like a keycap puller, and they just don't have a photo of it. So we definitely want to make sure that if we say this photo product first to be instance of product class. Yes, and to define that, cool. Okay, so this is going to fail again because we don't have any products being created as part of this photo. So we can say photo. Now I'm curious if this will work for product. I'm not sure if it has to be a for or a has. Call to undefined method for products. Call to undefined method. Okay, so for products. Okay, is it has products? Cool. Okay, so now we have this idea of a photo that has products. Okay, and it automatically populates the pivot table, which is awesome. So next we want to, what do we want to say? It has a URI. Yep. So this photo URI to be string to be URL. Okay, so obviously this is going to fail because we don't have that field defined yet. So we'll do two things at once here. This is probably not exactly TDD, but I'm okay with it. We need to do protected fillable URL. Yep. No URI. And let's just close this, and factory is not going to work, right? So we need photo factory. And we're going to do 5D that. And URI is going to be a fake image URL. Sure. Column not found. Yep. Cool. Create photos table. So we want to say table string URI. It is not nullable. It must exist. Okay. Cool. Okay. So we have a photo, we have products. I guess the next thing we want to do is on our product test, we want to, let's just invert this. So let's say yank, oops. It has many photos. I will never get used to that. Okay, this product, photos. Yeah, we want photo class, and this needs to be of the collection class. Eliminate support. Okay. So again, this is going to fail. Undefined property. This. Okay. Okay. So that's good. So we need to open up our product model. And say function photos. This is a belongs to many. Yep. Return this belongs to many. Photo class. Yep. So we can close that. Failed to sort of like null is an instance of class photo. Yeah, so we want to edit our product factory because now it is oh no, right. We don't need to edit the factory. What we need to do is we need to, in fact, let's go like this. Product equals product factory for photos. Create. And now if I can remember how to do, no, not like that. No, not the whole line. Whatever. Okay, now this should work. Call to undefined method. Did I do it the wrong way? Is it the other one? Factor has. Oh, it is. Okay. Has photos. Create. Cool. So now a product can have photos. And actually, let's say like this. Make this even more explicit. Can have many photos because it's not necessary. It can have many products. Okay. Cool. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is, so let's close these. And what we want to do is we want to go into the fetch data from store job, because here is where we're going to start adding the the information about our photos. So what we will do is, I guess, actually, the first thing we need to do is pull the Shopify store, no, Shopify product, no, variants. Ooh, this is going to be interesting. Okay, let's take a look at the variant class for a minute. So we are passing in the entire product. So I think the images should, so let's say public array image URIs, and we will say this images equals this images product variant, because we're going to need to know both the some information from the product that we're pulling as well as from the variant itself. And actually, I believe the images are on the product. So let's dig into the Shopify product for a minute. And okay, so what we're gonna have to do here is public public collection. Yeah, we'll make it a collection to be nice to ourselves in the future. And we're gonna say this images equals this images data. So we are going to say function images. It's going to take in the Shopify get data of data. And it's going to return a collection. Yep. So we are going to, we're just going to return the images right now. So return data and from the JSON, and we want the images, I believe. Let's go take a look and see. Let's just call this data for consistency purposes. That's images, not array. Okay, and so let's go take a look at the JSON. So here we have the JSON for a single product. And so if we say, if we hide the variants, we hide the options, yeah, images is directly on this product. And what we'll have to do as part of the variant is look through the variant IDs, like the known variant ID, and see if it matches any of these variant IDs. And if so, add it to the list of images for that variant. This images equals images data. Okay, so that should be getting pulled off now. And if we say undefined method images, yeah, that's fine. So let's say images, and we're going to take in a Shopify product and standard class variant. Yep. And this is going to return also a collection. Let's update this to, ooh, no, not like that. Okay, so when we get these images, we're in the variant now. So we will have the variant ID available to us. Right, yes, we'll have the variant ID. But now I'm curious, is it the ID or is it the product ID? I bet you it's the product ID. I just have this feeling. So 4316 or 7939. Let's take a look. 7939. Okay, so it's the oh no. Okay, so 4316. Okay, so it is the ID. Okay, so good. Let's just make sure that that's what we're pulling. ID is just the variant ID. Yes. Okay, so we can then say images. Okay, so at this point we have all of the images, like the concept of these images, because we've already passed in the product. So what we can say is let's just say images equals blank array, whatever. And then, so for each product images as image, if image, hide this for a sec, if image, okay, so we're gonna have this, and it's gonna be if, how do we, oh, is it array contains? HP array contains, oh, in array, okay. If in array, and so what is the, so it's the needle, so we need the variant ID is in images, image variant IDs, images, yep. So then we will say return collect of images. Okay, so what this does is basically saying we're going to loop through each of these variant IDs, and we're going to if the variant ID exists in, where are they, down here, in this variant IDs, then we're going to take this whole concept of an image, and then which will have like the source and everything in that, which we will use to basically pull off and go grab in a minute. So that should be okay. Image. Yeah, this should actually just be images, because we don't, it's not just going to be URIs, it's going to be the entire object or image object kind of thing that we're passing through. So that should be okay. So if we now say, let's just die and dump this variant here for a minute. And we are going to comment that and comment that. Okay, so I'm just going to run this command, spider Shopify. So it should die right away. That's a little too quick for my taste. Why are we not? Oh, right, because it's a job. So art queue work. Now, I'm not sure if this is actually going to die properly. Nope. Is anything added to the jobs? No. That is not what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. Okay, so why is this not running now? Fetch Shopify product data. It should. Of course, it works while I'm off stream, and now as soon as I'm not, as soon as I am on stream, it decides it doesn't want to work anymore. Art, spider Shopify. Shopify. Okay, so it's got that. Is it even hitting these? It is not. Okay, so is the vendors table empty for some reason? It is. Because Oh, because I ran the tests. I betcha. Okay, so if we go into what is it, PHP unit XML? Yeah. Right. Okay, so now. Okay, well, I guess we'll add a store using the Shopify add store. Okay, so we'll add. What is this one? What are we at? Vortex gear. Okay. Vortex gear. You are at the home page. Product specific sitemap. Okay. Oh man, my neck is just killing me today. That. Okay, so now if we do the Spider Shopify, it should populate the. So the vendors table should have Vortex gear. Jobs table should have all of the products. Nothing in brands, nothing in products yet. So if we go now, if we go that, and we comment that out, we should be able to run the queue worker or queue work, and hopefully it's going to die right after the first one with the variant. Spider Shopify does not have a DD. Okay. Oh, it's failing because it's failing within the context of the job, so we'll have to go look at the errors, failed jobs. Or not. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so what we're going to do temporarily, is comment that, and we're just going to yank this entire thing. We're just going to put it in the command temporarily so that we can do stuff with it, and then we will delete it. Okay, vendor brand is going to have issues. Brand, this is just going to be URL. Unknown property. So this can just be that. logging class. Okay, that should, oh, no. Okay, that should be all the errors. So now we should be able to run it kind of in real time without creating a job. So let's say spider Shopify. It should die. Okay, so typed property images must not be accessed before initialization. Okay, so it's not creating the product before it creates the variant. So let's go take a look. Shopify product. Must not be accessed before initialization. Okay, so what are we missing here? Shopify product. And it's airing out on the Shopify variant. Oh, so this should be there. Oops. Right, we need the images before we do the variants. Okay, so let's try and rerun this now. Okay, image must return collections, array returned. Okay, no problem. We can just do collect. Cannot use object of type standard class. Okay, as array. Okay, so that's even better. So we can go to our variant. And right now we are accessing it like this. So if we say write that. Okay. Cool. So there's our images. So now we can loop through those as we're creating the products and set up our images. Okay, so close that, close that, close that. So we can undo those. And now if we say, so product is being created. We want to say for each product, not variant, product. No, we do want the variants. Do we want the variants? Yes, we want the variants. For each variant, images as image, because this is the Shopify variant, not our variant. We are going to say, so for each images, we're going to say created product photo, photos create. So first thing we're going to take is the URI. And so what is that property called here? Variants. Make that a little bigger here. These are the images, right? Yeah, so source, okay? Is going to be image source. Is there anything else on here that we really care about? No, but there is going to be this issue where if they don't have any variant IDs, that's going to be a problem. Okay, so we're going to write some tests for this in a sec. Is this Vortex gear? No, this is low free. Okay, so if we go back one, these ones, so we're doing happy path first, and then we'll write some failing tests. Okay, so variant IDs, and I do actually have a bunch of tests for these, so this is not just me cowboying it. Obviously not for the photo things yet, but I just wanted to kind of hack on this. So this should, in theory, work. So we're gonna have a photo with a photo URI. Yep. And then I'm just gonna put a kind of a to-do here. download image and save to storage. Download image and save to storage. Yeah. So, download image and save to storage. We're going to do that in a bit. Right now, we just want to create the thing in the database. We can worry about actually getting the correct. Actually, so what we're going to say is we're going to put this up here because eventually what's going to happen is we're going to get the photo and the URI that's going to go into this product or this the image or the photo. Sorry, my goodness. The URI that's going to go into the photo model is actually going to be our own because right now it's just going to store a copy to like a remote image, and if there's like hot linking protection on, it's going to cause a bunch of problems. But at least this is going to get a URI into here. So let's just run this to make sure that that's going to do what we think it's going to do. Of course not, because we still got our DD. So we can go to Spider Shopify. Undo all of this. Okay. Cool. And let's try and run this. So, okay, so in theory, there should be a bunch of jobs here now in the, actually, I'm going to refresh the data. Oh, that's going to, let's just clear the jobs. I just want to make sure that none of the old jobs are being, going to take priority kind of thing. Okay, so there should be 45 rows. Okay, so there's 45 products, give or take. So let's go ArtQ work. And if we go to our, oh, that is very interesting. It's not actually creating any photos because we haven't even migrated the database. Art migrate. Or am I? Oh, okay, photos. Okay, there you go. So we've got our URIs. These are the product URIs, photo product. Yeah, those are like a many to many because you can see like the product IDs that aren't quite matching up, which is awesome. That actually gives me confidence that it's working. And so if we go into, let's say like Art Tinker, because we don't really have a web interface right now. So if we say, what's a product that has one? So product with product ID 11, let's say. So say product equals product find 11. Okay, so it found it. So if we say product photos, and there you go. So there's the photo for product 11 using our table, lookup table, pivot table, with the correct URI. So if we say product name, I think it's name, title, PC66 barebone 68 key, that would seem to match up here. ISO dark. So I think we're on track here. So let's, pardon me. So we're now fetching the URIs. I want to go back and add some tests because we're going to be breaking on low free in a minute here. So let's go to, what was the test? I thought I had a test for spidering. Maybe I didn't. If not, we're going to create some. Shopify test, Shopify store test, product test. Okay, so we don't have a test for the spider, like the job itself. So let's do that. So let's quit out of here. Art make test Shopify spider test. Okay, so Shopify spider test. And so what are we going to need? So before each this dot vendor is going to be equals vendor factory create. And what do we want to do? I'm thinking for these specifically because we're going to want some testing. Oh no, that's not going to work either. We're going to have to get some individual. Oh no, okay. So we can say vendor create. So what's one that we already have? Use app models vendor. And so I got a bunch of data sets. What am I trying to say? Fixtures for a bunch of different sites. So in fact, the one that works right now is Vortex Gear. So we can use that. So we can literally just say, basically make a copy of this for lack of a better term. So vendors, name is Vortex Gear. Website URI is going to be this. Website URI. The sitemap URI is going to be this. URI is that. Okay, and actually, we might not even need to do this because this is going to have to work. We'll be able to use our data sets, and the data sets are what that first command that I was showing is, where it has a bunch of where it prints out a whole array. And so I did that because we can, as we add stores, we'll be able to make sure that our tests run against all of the stores and we don't have to keep writing a bunch of stuff. So what I actually just created is kind of unnecessary. What we can do is we can go into our I think it's the product test. No, this is the only one that it's in two of them, and that's not one of them. Okay, so in here we have this with Shopify stores. So this is basically saying, like, go to this data set, the Shopify stores, and it's just going to pull this massive array of a bunch of different stores out, and then feed it to this test and run the test against every single one of those stores. And so what we'll have to do is we'll just go like this, and we will copy this entire thing here. Actually, you know what? We're going to copy the before each as well. Because I want to make sure that we're not actually reaching out to like any actual sites. And so we can say, let's just paste that, and we will D60. Okay, so let's import HTTP. Yep. Okay, new Shopify store. Okay, so we don't care about that so much right now, but what we are going to care about is, okay, so for each of those fakes, yep, we're going to fake it out. Yeah, so this is what is going to create an HTTP fake for all of the different places, which is exactly what we want. So now if we go in here, so it can what do we want to say? It can associate a photo with a product. Okay, so we now can say this artisan Spider Shopify. Okay, let's go. Just get rid of that. And so what do we want to say? So once we have the spider going, because also one of the other pieces of data that we get, or that this command that I built gets, is so when we create this like concept of a store, we get one of the products. Now, in theory, some of these might not have images, but that's good because we want to be able to handle that appropriately. So if we say, how do we want to do this? Shopify stores test. So hide that. Shopify spider test is what we want. So we're running the spider, and so what we want to say is, so the queue should operate itself. So let's say, I guess first thing, we want to make sure that a job, the fetch stuff, fetch job is being called. So we want to say, before here, we also want to fake out the queue. So we want to say queue fake. And I don't know if we have to fake out jobs as well, but we're going to do that anyways, or we're going to check anyways, job fake. Okay, it doesn't look like it. Say, we want to say, I can't remember the, undefined method fake. Really? I don't believe you. So let's say Laravel Q fake mocking. This is for 9, so we want 10. Mocking facades. No, we want queues. Testing. Okay, so what do we want? Yeah, queue fake. So what's the problem? Eliminate support facades. Okay, that's why. Queue that one. Now we should be able to do say fake. And is there? Okay, apparently not. All right, whatever. So we're gonna say queue assert. What's the syntax for this? So assert nothing pushed. Yes. We will move this up. Nothing pushed. Okay, assert nothing pushed. So we want to make sure that at the beginning there's nothing pushed on the queue. And then we want to say, after that artisan command has been run, we want to say queue assert pushed. And we don't care about which queue it's being pushed on right now, at least. But we want to say assert pushed. And I don't remember the name of the job. App, console commands, fetch test, spider Shopify. Spider Shopify. And I want to make sure that that's, no, we want the fetch Shopify product data. Fetch Shopify product data. Okay, so in theory, that should at least be a passing test. Okay, so it's not even doing that. So the expected job was not pushed. Is there like a separate dispatched? No. Okay. Okay. Why? Okay, Okay, so the expected fetch Shopify product job was not pushed. Past closure, blah, blah, blah. We don't care about that right now. I don't think I need to do a chain. Queue before, queue after, blah, blah, blah. Don't care about that stuff. Should just be this. So, the job was pushed twice. Don't care about how many times it was pushed. I just care that there was something. All right, so let's get rid of that. And let's go to our Spider Shopify command. Yep. And let's split that to the right and then put this over here. Okay, so fetch Shopify product data, fetch Shopify product data. Artisan Spider Shopify. I'm curious if it's trying to execute this job. I don't think it should because we're faking out the queue. Let's take a look at fetch Shopify product data. It implementing should queue. Yep. I don't think there's anything else we need to do. Generating job classes. Can't remember. I vaguely recall there being like a. Actually, no. I think that's a mailable where you have to define that it's queued. So let's see. Anything else on here? Yeah, we shouldn't have to worry about that. Queue connection database. Let's just really drives me crazy, and I'm sure there's a way to fix it, but that you can't see. Queue connection database, yeah. Okay, so that's right. Is it different on PHP unit? Queue connection sync. Okay, so that might be the problem. Let's say database. Changes, yes. Now, if we run this, nope. It's not pushed. We're not chaining, so we don't need to worry about that. So why is that not being pushed? Queue is being faked. It's running this. What I'm curious about is if I put a DD here, is it going to die? Because it shouldn't. We don't want to actually run this. We just want to make sure that it's being queued, not that it's actually running. Okay, so it is trying to run those. Okay, so it's we don't want it to run these right now. We don't want them to run in line. Shopify product. store, blah, blah, blah. Just going to put myself on Do Not Disturb here because I forgot to do that. Okay, let's see. Because we want it queued, it should be getting queued. I don't know why. Okay, so let's take a look at Laravel pest queue run. Yeah, so we set ours. We did queue fake it. Dispatch. Yeah, these are all exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm not doing dispatch now. Do I need to do a bus fake as well? I don't think this should solve the problem. What did I do? What? Spider Shopify, what did I do here? Unexpected that. Oh, yeah, it's still not pushing. Tempted to go look at some of my other projects to see what I did because I know this should work, at least in general. Like, we're not using the bus. Like, I didn't think that was going to solve the problem. Queue fake, yeah, we're dispatching it and it's starting pushed, but it's running the stuff in sync. Oh, I wonder if there's like a, no, there's no PHP unit. Sometimes, like, I know some apps, there's like a PHP unit result cache or whatever. I was wondering if maybe it was caching the PHP unit config or something. Queue connection is database. So it definitely should not be executing those. Let's go art. Really wish there was like a cache clear and just clear everything. Not just the application cache. Because I don't think that's going to solve our problem. No. Expected job was not pushed. I'm guessing that if we go back here, it's still executing this. And we don't want it to run the job right now. We just want it to... We just want to see it on the queue, and then we can have another test that actually tests that it's doing the right thing, right? Okay, so, yeah, it is not seeing that queue fake. Let's go like this. Queue. I just want to make sure that it's like it running in the before each shouldn't be a problem, but I just want to make sure that it's really getting set. Yeah, so it's not. We shouldn't have to fake it. Still just trying to run it. So now what I'm wondering about is okay, actually, no, I guess we do want it to run the command. What we don't want is for the product data to actually happen. So let's take a look at here. Whoa. Shopify product. Let's try this again. Fetch Shopify product data. Okay, so if we go to this handle method and we say d hi job running, and we go to this test, okay, so it's not actually, okay, so that's actually interesting. Okay, so I think I know what the problem is now. Let's close that. And so what it's not doing is it's not seeing the vendors. So what we want to do is we want to say, no, I don't think we can do that. Okay, so we have to go for each of these fakes. We will also want to create a vendor factory create. And so the name is going to be name. The website URL is going to be the site URL, and the site. And yeah, this is going to be an I. Okay. Yeah, because what was happening is because there was no vendors, it was just there's not in the. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's try this one more time. Vendor. So if we go to this command, what it's doing is it's looking up for all the vendors, and then for each one it finds, it does this command. But if there's no vendors actually being created as part of this kind of setup, then there's nothing for it to do. So now we should be able to delete that. This should work, or at least get closer. It's not pushed. Okay, let's see. Is it even creating the vendors? Okay, so it is doing at least creating one. Logo URI is fine, whatever. Sitemap URI and the website URI is what we care about right now. Okay, so in here, okay, we also got to have to fake out HTTP. HTTP facades, yes, fake. Oh no, okay, so we're doing that below because we're doing that here. Source destination. And how, if we look at our data, tests. Data sets. So yeah, so those should be faked out. But even still, it should at least be queuing this job. So let's go DD store, see what it's getting. Okay, so it's getting the information that we expect from the sitemap. Let's dump out the URL that it's trying to work on. Okay, so it's seeing that. And so if it's getting there, it's obviously getting to the next line. So why is that not being queued properly? Queue assert pushed. Job was not pushed. Like, I know we're using dispatch. Is there some other? No. Okay, so it's just dispatch and assert pushed. We're not using dispatch now. We're just using dispatch. Queue, assert pushed. Fetch Shopify product data. So like, I just want to see what it's going to. I feel like it's running very slowly. Yeah, it is not liking this at all. Definitely going to be a CPU pinning issue for sure. Hopefully the stream doesn't die here. Just kill that so there's nothing left running. Update that plugin. Cool. So we want shop spider test. Okay, so in this corner, we're wanting the spider Shopify command. Yeah, whatever that is. Fetch Shopify product data. Yeah, like. Let's think about this. If we go to, and I didn't mean to close that, but that's okay. If we go to data sets, Shopify stores, yep. And so what I'm suspecting is that because we're getting the real URLs from the JSON, we're not faking them, and I'm wondering if it's failing silently behind the scenes, that it's not able to reach out to the right place. And so what I'm thinking is like, how do we kind of do a catch-all? And I know you can do just like a beaver keys, /star, but I'm not sure if it's kind of, if it reads them in a row. I mean, I guess we can try. So let's say, no, that's going to be a huge pain. Ugh. Shopify spider test. Spider Shopify. Yeah, I think this is going to be a problem with how we're getting all this fixture data, which sucks because it was really nice to have it automated. Okay, I think I'm going to put this one on hold for now. This huge kind of end-to-end test of this whole command that kind of dips in about 8 levels, and instead, let's undo that, and we're going to go like this. Close this test. I'm going to close that. I'm going to go into our shop test, and we're going to look at the product because which one is it getting beaver keys? Okay, so what do we want to do? I want to go to this other test that I was thinking about writing about if the images don't have a variant ID. So it can associate. How do we want to write this? Test that. That if a product has images with defined variant IDs, they are set to the, if a Shopify product has images with defined variant IDs, set to the correct THOC product images. So let's think about this. So let's say we have, I think I'm going to want to do some custom fixtures for this. So let's Shopify product. So how are we doing this? So the images come in through the data. So what happens if we say DD this product images? I just want to see what we're getting here. I want to make sure that it's actually something usable. I want to make sure that we're seeing the right stuff. Okay, so right. Okay, so for this one, there's no variant IDs, so we can test the Shopify product head without defined variant IDs. So what do we want to happen? If I think what we say is if there are multiple variants and multiple photos, every variant just gets every photo. So we want to say actually, let's just want to see how many variants are showing up here. So there's 2. Okay, so there's 2 variants in this thing, so that's a perfect case. So we want to say and how many images were there? I forget already. Or 14 images. Okay, so first thing we want to do is we want to expect that photo count is only 14 because we don't want to duplicate has count 14 because the idea is we don't want to create a bunch of, we don't want to create like a combinatoric thing like of 14 photos times however many products. Like we only need to really keep one copy of every photo. We just can reference it to multiple products, right? So we only want to make sure that there's only 14 photos. We want to expect that this product first photos has count 14. I think there's a last. Okay, so has method collection photo count oh my goodness. Okay, to be 14. Failed asserting that 0 is identical to 14. Okay. So why? Failed asserting that 0 is identical to 14. Oh, right. We're not actually creating these. We just want... Oh, right. Because this is not actually making any models. This is just... This is just the unit tests of these. Okay. expect this product photos, right, to be 14. To have count images. Okay, and then we also want to say this product variants first. Images. Okay, failed asserting that blah 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 is identical. All right. To have count. Okay, so which one is failing? It should be the second one. Yes. Okay, so this is because right now, if we look at the Shopify variant, right now it's saying, okay, so if it's in this ID, or sorry, if the variant ID is in that list of variant IDs, then we want to add it. But also we want to say if image, I think it's is empty. No, empty. I think it's this one. Image variant IDs. Images equal image. So now, okay, that passes. Okay, but the problem is right now, this is a very naive implementation, because what happens is it's actually, no, that's fine. Okay, so right now we're just returning the collection. We're not actually saving them. What we need to deal with is the fact that when we go to like actually insert them in the database, that's when we need to kind of like deduplicate and kind of look to see if a product, or sorry, if a photo actually exists already with like the same URI, and if so, just use that and attach another product to it. So that's actually okay. So that's good. Let's go back to our fetch Shopify product data. So now what we want to say is what's going on here? Okay, so for each image in the list of images, we want to say, so if actually, you know what? Yeah, go like this. If photo where what's the URI is the image. How are we saving this? Images product variant. Okay, so it's going to just be the literal JSON. So it's the source, image source. So basically what we're saying is if this image already exists, like an image with this same source already exists in our database, we just want to say actually. Okay, so we're gonna go like this: photo equals that, and then if photo, so if it exists, we want to say photo attach, and I can never remember the syntax. I know it's attach, but I'm not sure if it's attach in the brackets or what. So we'll just go attach model. Okay, so photo products attach product. Else, and here's where we will create it. Oops. Okay, so I think that makes sense. If we have, just close that. Models use, I don't know why my autocomplete is not working again. Photo. So yeah, so we're looking it up by the source, and if it exists, then we're just going to attach it to a product. Otherwise, we're going to create it for the first time, create a new photo. I think that works. So let's go like this, make that a bit bigger. And let's say art, spider Shopify. And I bet you the database refreshed. It did. That is really annoying that it keeps doing that. Especially considering I'm using the SQLite database for PHP unit. Am I not? PHP unit.xml. Database connection, SQLite should be an in-memory database. I don't know why it keeps resetting our actual database. That is very frustrating. Okay, so art, Shopify, Vortex gear. Copy the sitemap. Now we should be able to say spider Shopify. There should be a bunch of jobs here. Yes, nothing failed yet. Now we can say spider Shopify. Oh, do not want to do that. We want to work the queue. So I'm going to run this one more time. Art queue work. So those are failing. So let's see what the failure message is. Sure would be nice if the jobs would fail in the correct order, but I guess that's what we get for asynchronous programming. I have to wait a few minutes here for it to fully fail for us to get the error. So some of them are completing, some of them are failing. really like is for it to fail fast. Still nothing in these failed jobs yet. We're getting any photos? We sure are. That's a good sign. Brands, okay. Still nothing in failed jobs, so maybe it literally just was it hitting the rate limiter and it's catching up to where it needs to be. Be nice. I doubt that's the case, but VTK 9009. Let's take a look. NC US King G. Okay, I mean it's there. Product ID of 7. Product ID. There's no photos. Okay, so I'm guessing it's a photo issue. Let's just kill that. Okay, so let's take a look. We can close that buffer. Let's take fetch Shopify product data. Let's say dump found photo URI. Because that should at least kick in if it is a issue with the logic there. Start working on that queue. Yeah, so it found the photo. So what are we doing wrong here? Photo products. Is that not photo products? Yeah. Photo products attach. Maybe we have to do like ID. Oh, created product. That's why. Created product. Okay, so let's clear the jobs again. Spider. Okay, there should be some jobs there if we refresh. No, got to stay connected. That's kind of important. Okay, so we have some jobs there. So now if we queue work this, cool. And now it's finding them and it's done, which is exactly what we want. And if we look at the photo product, is there going to be some for number 7? Photo ID 7, product ID. Okay, photo ID 7. Okay, perfect. Now the other thing that I'm realizing that we haven't done and that we want to make sure of is that we're not constantly duplicating this. So like every time we rerun this, we don't want to like keep adding more and more of the same things into here. And so what we can do is if we go into our photo product pivot table, And I believe the syntax is table unique. Yeah, so we want the photo ID, and the product ID. Cool. Okay, so let's can we copy this row? Okay, and now I'm going to reset this database. Art migrate fresh seed, sure. Photo product, good. Awesome. Yeah, and so we're seeing here all the products that we've found, and this does not include the variants because the variants will show up once we actually crawl the product. No failed jobs. We got some brands popping in here. Photos are showing up here now. This is amazing. This is exactly what we were hoping for. Products, vendors, all right, brands. Yeah, the only thing that I want to change is get rid of this debug information here because we don't need it anymore. Oops, don't want to open that right now. So let's just close that. Awesome. Eventually we'll get rid of all this other debug information, but at this point, this is exactly what we want. The last thing we want to do, I guess, is I want to create an observer for the photos table because, in fact, I don't want that there. What I want to do is I want to say, okay, so when we create a new photo, it's going to have just a random, like the original URI. Actually, no, we're going to do this correct because this is part of this. So we can cancel this. So the next thing we need to do is go get the URI, the image. So let's go for each image. Yep, we want to say if photo, so else, oops, we want to again, we're just going to talk it out here. So we want to fetch image from source. And we're going to dispatch so what do we need from this? We need obviously the image. Is there anything else we need? Yes, we're going to need the product. So it's going to get the image. What is it going to do with it? Yeah. Yeah, so we're going to pass in the product that we've created and the image. Because then this, yeah. So this logic is going to go into that fetch image from source job. So art make job fetch image from source. Okay. Undefined type fetch image from source. I argue that that is not true. Because if we fetch Shopify product data, app jobs, fetch image from source. Fetch image from source. You are right there. Now your constructor is not correct. Product, and this is just going to be a standard class image. Okay, and so this is going to it's going to get that. Yeah. Here we are going to say, actually let's write a test for this. So art make test fetch image from source test. Fetch image from source test. So on the right we're going to have the actual class, and here we're going to write this test. So before each, what do we need? We need a product. This product equals product factory create, and image is just going to be standard class new and I can't even remember how to create a standard class out of scratch. PHP standard class with some properties. Okay, so we can even say new object. Oh yeah, even better. Okay, so JSON decode source equals HTTP Okay, and so now we can test this this job by basically saying, and we actually want to fake any HTTP calls because we definitely don't want to be doing those. We want to just fake everything, and we also want to prevent stray requests so we don't accidentally make any requests anywhere. I'm going to say it can fetch the image from the source and store it on disk. So we want to say, and then this fetcher equals new fetch image from source with product, this product, and this image. So we want to say expect we're going to want to storage fake this. So we want to say storage assert missing. I guess we'll just call it image.jpg. So we want to expect that when we call this fetcher handle, I'll say this, this fetcher handle. I'm going to call that method, and we expect. And actually, I'm not sure if we can do the expect API here. So we'll say storage assert exists. So that should fail. Must be of type standard class. What did we pass it? JSON to code. No. Why is that not decoding? Because I have these wrong. Okay, so it was those. Okay, so now we have this and let's be consistent. Let's put those at the top. So let's run this test. Okay, unable to find a file or directory at path image. Okay, good. So what we want to do now is we want to say storage disk. We want to call this images. And we're going to say no, we need to make the request. So HTTP get this image source body. That's going to be the image. Then we want to write that to disk. So we're going to say storage no, that's definitely not what we want. Let's just Get rid of this. Okay, so so the path we want is going to be, we're just going to hard code this for a minute. So put image.jpg, and the contents is going to be image. Don't need any options. Okay, and then the URI is going to be stored image. Not sure if there's like a path or something that we need to pull off here, but we'll see. Cool. Okay, so it's putting the image there. That's good. But obviously we've hard coded this this name, and we obviously don't want to do that. So how do we want to call, what do we want to do for this? I think we should also take in the file name of whatever we're passing, like where we want to save it. So I think we're going to say this file name equals stir it sucks. I thought there was like a UUID generator. Generate UUID. That's what the package. Okay. So stir. This is one of the few bad things about. Okay, so we'll just do it ourselves. Stir UUID. We will Laravel string. Just pick this one, and it's illuminate support str. Okay, use illuminate support str. Beautiful. This file name, and we want it to take in this public string file name. Oops. And so we'll get rid of that. This file name. Here we can also this file name. That should still work. Okay, good. And now we can, when we're calling this method, how do I deploy? Sorry, deflow. Sorry. So I apologize for not seeing these messages. I was kind of in the zone and kind of lost kind of got lost that I was on stream even. So, okay, so I'm going to go back to these questions. First time chat. DeFlo asked, what is Laravel for? Because I learned about it in my PHP University course. Don't know what it's used for. So Laravel is a PHP framework that is designed to help you build primarily web apps. It's not necessarily for web apps, but primarily used for building web apps extremely fast. And so it is awesome for rapid prototyping And because there's so much of the kind of boilerplate stuff done for you, you don't have to worry about wasting time on implementing the same logic like authentication and queues and storage drivers and database drivers and stuff. It's all built for you. All you do is you come to Laravel with an idea and you just start building your idea, which is what I'm doing here. To give you some backstory on what this project that we're working on is, it's a site called thoc.gg, and when it's done, it's going to be an aggregator of mechanical keyboard parts throughout the internet. The problem with the mechanical keyboard scene is that anyone can just start up a Shopify shop and start selling like keycaps or switches or keyboards or whatever. But because that's possible, there are like 1,000 sites online that you can buy these parts from. And so it's really hard to narrow down a place that has something that you want. And the other thing is, because anyone can stand them up, a lot of times these products are kind of like one run only. And so you get to a site, you finally find something you want, and it's out of stock, and it never will come in stock again. And so what we're going to do is we're tracking the availability of all these parts across as many Shopify shops as we can find, so that it's a one-stop shop. You can just start typing like purple and it'll just show you everything in stock across all of these sites that's the color purple, and you can start putting together your own build based on that. Curious, how do you deploy your projects? I've only ever done single VPS deploys initially manually, but lately using Laravel Forge. Definitely not as scalable as I'd like. I typically deploy my projects using a VPS, but I usually build a CI/CD pipeline that runs all of my actions, so like all my automated tests and stuff in GitHub, and then it calls this service ploy, which is basically, I don't want to call it a Laravel Forge knockoff, but it's kind of in the same vein. It's by a guy in the Laravel community. It's got a lot of the same features. I just find it's cheaper. And so that does the actual deploy from GitHub to the VPS. This project, I'm going to be dipping my toes into the completely serverless waters using Bref. So basically running it in AWS, just using Lambdas and stuff. That's going to happen in a future stream. I've played around with it a little bit, but it's a bit of an undertaking because of how the site is going to be structured. But Bref has a Laravel plugin that you basically just install the composer package. You run, it's basically just like Bref deploy. It packages your app up as like a Lambda layer, deploys it to Lambda, and you're good to go. And through like an API gateway, it does all that for you. So it uses the serverless framework to do that. So it's not obviously infinitely scalable, but it's very, very scalable. Laravel IDE helper. So yes, I usually use Laravel IDE helper when I'm in VS Code. I don't think, I guess it would work because it's like the command prompt style. So yeah, I guess I'll install that in this project here. So sorry, I just got it on the other screen, but I'm just going to pull the composer command here and Laravel IDE helper. Oh, right, because I was using Nikic parser, playing around with that. Oops. Just run it with W because Nikic parser I don't care about. I can upgrade, downgrade, doesn't matter. Cool. Laravel's great. Yes, like Google for product stock. Yeah, exactly. Right. Honestly, like that's our goal. Like, and so I've been building it with another guy who's doing the front end, and the whole front page is just going to be like a flat color with a big search bar in the middle, like just like Google. Like the whole purpose is like you have one goal when you come to our site, and that is to find some products that you want, and I don't want any distractions. Like there might be a logo at the top corner and like a couple of links at the bottom, but like 90% of the page is going to be blank, and I want it to be focused. Okay, so art, I can never remember, is it IDE generate? Okay, and there's one other one. It's art IDE, eloquent IDE helper, and then eloquent and models. Yes. Okay, cool. So now maybe we'll get some better autocomplete. And yeah, thanks for joining the flow. I appreciate the questions. I'm normally I'm not so in the zone, and if you have any other questions, like, this community is awesome. Feel free to ask questions. Either me or someone will answer. But yeah, like, this little group of people here is fantastic. Oops, don't want that. I want to do this. Okay, so we have a passing test that will store images that it's received. I guess the next thing we need to do here, let's write that. Okay, so let's see. Creating the image. What I'm curious about here now is photo all. No, of course. Photo, yes, that. Okay, so what is it getting and what is it inserting into the URI? Okay, so the URI is just 1. That's definitely not what we want. So we need to get the path off here. And so let's go look at the storage, file storage, and there's going to be a property that we can get. Retrieving files. Okay, so no, we want to put files. Storing files, okay. Storage put, okay, and then West file, okay. That's not what we want. Where do we get the path? Storage path, okay, I guess that could work. But I thought there was a... If we go to here... Oops. Expect to type object. What are we not doing here? Call to a member function on bool. Okay, so that is so weird. I thought like you could just put and then contents. Yeah. Okay, well, let's try this. Stored image equals storage URL this file name. Call to a member function path on bool. Did I not write this properly? Okay, cool. So now we're getting the correct URI. Okay, that's annoying, but whatever, it is what it is. So, what else do we need to do here? I believe that might actually be it. So the file name, how are we going to choose the file name? Because right now we're just generating one with a UUID, but in real life, when we're calling this fetch from source, just create a product image. So I think what we're going to do is So I'm thinking about how we're going to generate a file name for this photo that we're creating. Pardon me. And so we technically have the entire path to that file of the image. So like if we're given this, we have this whole thing. I mean, in theory, we could do just like split off the end, but what I'm worried about is duplication. And so what I think we're going to do is we're just going to generate a new oh, this is going to be ugly. No, I don't like that. We need to have a repeatable. Actually, no, that should be fine. So what we can do is we can just, so we will MD5 this entire string. And I know MD5 is not safe, but that's just for like security application. Like you don't want to hash a password with MD5. But if we're just trying to get a unique value, I guess we could just use like the hash make. And so what we really want to check is, so we're going to say file name URI equals this generate URI. And we're going to pass it the image. And so if we say private function generate URI, so we've got the image, so we're going to say return hash make of the image source. So that way it's repeatable. And that's not what I meant to do. I meant to do string. Okay. And so now we can say where the URI, because this will be repeatable, URI, or if it there. And so now we have a, oh, you know what? Okay, so yes, that's fine. We're just gonna have to get the URL parse. Is it parse URL? So we're gonna extension equals, I can't remember if it's parse, yeah, it's parse URL. Okay, so parse URL, and we want to pass it the image source. This is going to be the file name equals, so we're going to call this like URL parts, I guess. I don't know, URL parts. And so what we want is the, we just want to get the file extension type, because if it, we want to make sure that like if it's a ping, like a PNG, we're giving it a PNG file extension. If it's a JPEG, not that it really matters, but I just want to make sure that we're doing that. But we need to split off the query parameter for this part. So what we want is the path, I believe. Yeah, path. So if we say we just want this, so this is going to be path. Then we're going to, oh man, this is going to be ugly as well. Okay, so we're going to explode path parts equals explode. We want it on the dot, and the string is going to be the path. Then we need to figure out how long. Okay, so again, a file name in theory could be like test.jpg.jpg. And I mean, depending on who's doing this, like if they're not super technically capable, it's possible that the file literally could be called that. So what we want is only the last one. So literally what we need to do now, I'll just comment that out for a minute, is say, okay, so now we have the path parts exploded. So path parts is going to be an array. So we want to say, is there a way to get the last, PHP get last element of an array? And okay, so last, okay, cool. So we can say extension equals end of path parts. So we just want the last one. And so we're going to say file name is that. And then we're going to say return file name dot extension. Oh. Cool. Okay. So again, I'm going to put some comments in here so that because this is going to drive me crazy if I don't remember later. Okay, so in fact, actually, I'm just going to do some inline comments here. So here, path is going to be something like example.com/image, whatever, images/product1.jpg query string, whatever. Path parts, yep, is going to be that. Extension is going to be JPEG. No. Hey, Rapid. It was kind of an ad hoc thing. I wasn't actually planning on doing it, and holy crap, I've been going for almost 2.5 hours. I was not planning on doing this. So, okay, so I'm probably going to be going right away because I got a dog to take care of. But, okay, so we've got a file name, we've got an extension. And so that should now work. And so if we go back to our test, actually, I guess we can just run the queue worker and just see what it starts showing up as in the photos. Photos, nothing. Why not? Oh, I betcha, because I don't know. Yeah, so the jobs are getting added. So I'm just going to clear out a bunch of these because otherwise it's going to take forever to get down there. Because what's happening is it's doing all the products first and then getting to all the images. So we'll go down to like this one. Yes. This. Okay, so it's still getting product data. Hopefully there won't be too many more. I wish you could see Shopify. Okay, so here we go. No, I want to sort by those. Yeah, so a few more. Okay, so we should see in the next, after this one, it should be getting the photo data. Image from source, done, 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 done. Okay, so let's cancel that. Photos. Ugh. That's not the kind of hash that I wanted. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go back to MD5 because again, path info. What have we been working on today? So because I don't want images as part of the file name, because I want them to be all dumped into one big folder. Like and path info will have the /images /product1.jpg, not just product1.jpg. So that's why I'm not using path info. I'm splitting it off so that like the images is in fact, this actually is not even correct. It'll be that path info. Path info, path to be parsed. Oh, and they're even using the same thing I was doing. Okay, file name, path parts. Oh, okay, I did not know that. That's even better. Thank you. Okay, so let's be smarter about this here. And path info. Now, will that work with a remote URL? So if we go just like art tinker path info site.com/example folder /picture 1.jpg okay. File name. Okay, cool. That's awesome. File name. Beautiful. So we can get rid of basically all of this crap. We're going to do this again. So we're going to say file name equals path info of image source and file name. And then does it? Yeah, it has an extension. Oh, sorry. We want the extension to be this extension. That's what that part's doing. And we want to say the file name is going to be MD5 of the image source. Yes. Yeah, and that's the thing. So I did the query string and the file name. Oh, the extension, right? Damn it. Okay, so we're gonna have to go extension. So we're gonna say extension equals explode extension question mark on extension 0th. Yes. Okay, so now if I've got this correct, just control out of there. Okay, so we're going to get a few products. And then we're going to... so the jobs we should be able to clean out from. Care. Oops. My mousing today is not great. Fetch image from source. Okay, so those should happen. Yeah, fetch image from source. So now if we go to photos, beautiful. Okay, so yeah, so now we have a bunch of JPEGs. So that means it's getting the correct. Do you know if each product will have a type like switches, key? I'm going to need to split them up, organize them somehow. So eventually, yes, there will be, I'm going to be adding a tagging system, but it will be a fairly, I'm going to call it like naive system. Like some of the products, if we look at the raw JSON, so I'll go back to here for a sec. So, yeah, so like low free in theirs, the product type, they have keyboard. So this, if this exists, yes, great. But some sites don't have product type, or it's blank, or it's just like generic product. And so we'll have to do, like, what I might do is like do some regex to see if like the word keyboard is in the title or something. And if so, we can tag it with keyboard. But at the end of the day, like the product type really shouldn't matter, because no one's going to be, or at least the way I envision the search working is, because a service like Algolia is a full text search. If you type keycaps, like purple keycaps, for example, right? Like, number one, it has fuzzy matching, and number two, it's going to search the title, it's going to search the description. So like, really, like, we don't really need to group them, because someone's just going to type like purple keycaps, and anything with the word purple and or the word keycaps is going to be returned as a result. So we don't really have to kind of segment them. We can do our own segmenting, and that's what our tags can be for. But for like the initial implementation, it's not necessary for the idea to work, like the searching and stuff to work. So okay, that's working. So what do we got? So that's, I mean, I think we have a working system. Like if we go into our storage, is it app? Yeah, so here's all our JPEGs, right? So there's like all these JPEGs are the ones that we just downloaded. For instance, a keyboard with purple keycaps would show for, even though it's, yeah, and that's very true. I'm gonna okay, so yeah, sorry, I saw that and I was reading it out loud without clicking the allow button, so I'll try and be better at that next time. But yeah, so a keyboard with purple keycaps might show for keycaps even though it's a keyboard. That is true, but the way I'm envisioning this site is from something of a newbie site, a newbie joining the kind of community, because that's where the genesis of the site was. Like, I'm a newbie to this hobby, right? Like, I'm brand new to mechanical keyboards, and I was trying to find one that worked, or that kind of met my criteria, worked in that sense, and trying to find the things. I would rather have too many good options than not enough options. And so if you search for purple keycaps, but a keyboard with purple keycaps also shows up, for right now, I'm okay with that. In the future, Algolia has like rules where you can like have different weightings on different keywords and stuff. So you can say, like, if the person is typing keycaps, like prioritize things that are tagged as a keycap. So like put them higher in the list as in higher relevance than something that just has the word keycaps in the description, for example, right? So there are ways that we can get around that. At the moment, I just want to get this site up and running and get some kind of results in front of people, because the sooner I can do that, the happier people are going to be when they're looking for things, right? So ended up just going with the Logitech Mech Mini because I love the low profile caps. I got my first keyboard. I'm going to see if this will work. I don't know if the cable is long enough, but it's a Shurikey Sizel 003. It's a 60 or a 75% with just like the arrows. I don't know if this comes through very well on stream, but yeah, I'm very, very happy with it. Very, very happy, and very happy to be into this hobby, because I've been using, like, I have a Apple Magic Keyboard just sitting on the floor next to me right now. But yeah, this is like, it feels just so much better. Like I'm going to be in this hobby for a long time, but like I can viscerally feel the pain of a newbie going into this hobby, trying to find stuff that's in stock and that they like, because I'm literally still going into it, right? Like I've just went through this a week ago. So like I went through that stress. So I know what it's like, and I want to solve that problem before I forget that pain, because it's like you got to strike while the iron's hot, right? So, but if I Solid. Yeah, and like I don't know that I was a butterfly switch simp, but pretty close, right? Like I always thought like shorter key travel time equals better, and so I really liked how thin the Magic Keyboard was. But it turns out I just like nice feeling keyboards, and they could be very thin, profile keys, or really thick, chunky boys like the one I'm using now. So as long as it feels good, and I know that's a completely subjective thing, but yeah, I'm loving this keyboard, and I'm already searching for my next one. Okay, so let's take a look at our list and let's see what we've done. So build a photo model and photo products pivot table. Yep, we did that. Those are just comments. Use our existing processes. Wondering. Yeah, and like we will still be able to. I can build some like I don't want to call it fake, but like again naive filtering as far as like the grouping of like product or keycaps and switches and keyboards and whatever, right? Like we can do that like relatively simply, but it will be very not great. But as soon as we can hook into Algolia, like all of that goes away. Like there doesn't need to be filters, right? Like that's the whole thing is like the whole point of having an Algolia in our stack is we don't need filters. You just start typing what you want and it brings the most relevant things for you to the top. And if you want something more specific, you just type in the more specific thing and it filters it down automatically, right? That's why I want it to be as zero friction as possible, so that we don't have to build a bunch of, yeah, exactly. You plug in name, description, and tags. You don't even need to do that. You just start typing the thing like in your brain that you want. And it's just like, oh, the most relevant results come up. And it doesn't have to be a perfect search, like because they do fuzzy matching. It can be not perfect. And so, yeah, like it's that's why I want to use Algolia so much, is because they give us that flexibility. We don't have to be so regimented with our like, well, is this a keyboard or is this keycaps or is this a switch or whatever, right? Like we can just kind of be open-ended and let the person solve their own problems, right? Like just like with Google, right? Like you're not going to filter Google results. You're just going to type another word to narrow down your search. And that's what Algolia does on a much smaller scale, but the exact same concept. Okay, use our existing processes to pull URIs off the variants. Yep, we've done that. We dispatch a bunch of jobs to fetch the photos. Cool. I think for today, we are done. I've been streaming for over 2.5 hours. I was planning to go for less than an hour today, so my wife is probably not going to be super happy with me when I go upstairs. But no, thanks again for joining, guys. I'm going to stream at least once more this weekend, possibly twice if I can find the time. My day tomorrow is looking a little bit crazy, but I might have some time in the evening, and then definitely the Sunday evening stream will be happening. I'm really liking those because I can really spend a lot more time. Like I can do like a 4-hour stream. So if you're around, I usually start around 6 Mountain. So that's what, 5 Pacific and 8 Eastern. If you guys are around, that would be great. If not, totally understand. The videos all go up on YouTube basically as soon as I can upload them after the stream. So yeah, thank you very much for joining, guys. This has been awesome. We've made a ton of progress. And I guess before I forget, let's just commit these so I don't make a fool of myself. Let's go like this. Adding photo model and linking to product. These can just be committed. Tests for photo and stuff, whatever. Tests for photo, that's fine. Okay, push that up. Okay, so yeah, thank you very much for joining, guys. I will see you soon. Have a good one. Later.